Hello, thank you for tuning in. My name is Larry Duncan Allen, and this is No More Water. Fire. Next time. That's my opening kind of hanging up there a little bit. Maybe I need to re-download it. Getting a little nippy out there past couple of days. Morning time, get in the car, I have to turn on heat on a little bit. Then by afternoon, I have to turn the air conditioning on. I thank you for tuning in. My subject tonight is about how the government has been a mob. Just another mob as far as black people are concerned, the police and everyone has been a mob against us. Because many of the things that have happened to us was sanctioned by the government. I mean, it just wasn't by chance, it was by the government. Our economic, most of the time we had an economic collapse because of enacted by mobs with government sanctions, sometimes the government itself. I did a little study about Marcus Garvey. I thought he was just a person who committed fraud, found out the government ruined his shipping business. That's why I need to be quiet until I really look that stuff up. Um, and so we've been stunned many times, and now even some of the other people are coming out saying about how the government um, told, when they came here, they were told certain things about black people, why they wouldn't deal with black people, but I don't see it as an excuse. Matter of fact, I have a video I want to show you about what some of them say the government say the government say they say the government told them certain things about black people. Okay, where's that at? Where's that video at? Watch this. What I do?
If you said what you said, how could you say that? How could anybody that looks like you come into America and talk about African Americans when they are the ones that have created the foundation for foreigners to come in? The 1964 Civil Rights Bill is the reason why Koreans, Nigerians, Indians, Arabs can come in and open up businesses in black neighborhoods and still disrespect the fucking same people that are putting money in their pockets. What kind of fucking nerve is that? It's the serious hatred of African Americans in this country. It's in the soil. It's in the fucking soil, like my boy Dante says. That's my co-host. He says it's in the soil. That it's almost patriotic to hate black people. It's patriotic. It's part of the.
Damn.
It's part of that.
Oh, damn.
Yeah, it's part of the American thing to hate black people. Because let me tell you, I got proof. My Vietnamese friends, I say, why you keep calling us Midang? And my friend Duck, it's Duck, and it's not Duck, it's Duck. We used to call him Duck. He says, they tell us, the government tell us to be careful of black people. They tell us that. Yeah. The white people, they tell us, be careful of black people. And I ended up being their friends. My father and my parents buying them clothing. And you got black people giving you clothing and black people hanging out with you and teaching you football and all this other shit. And they told you to stay away from black people. You know, you know what I'm saying? They taught them that shit. And Richard Pryor has a good joke. Rich Pryor had a good one in the 70s where he goes, he's like, yeah, he said, them Vietnamese motherfuckers come into town in America, right? He said, the government says, hey, if you call him a nigger, you're an American. Some shit. Nigga. You ever hear him say that shit?
No, I didn't.
Yeah, Richard says it perfect. He said, man, them motherfuckers is racist and motherfucker. He's like, because the white folks tell them, if you say nigger, then you're American. Nigga. Yeah, even Richard Pryor talked about that. And it's sort of like it's a patriotic thing to hate black people. That's like a normal thing. It's if they gave you a pamphlet, they'll say, oh yeah, and hate niggers. Because every other race, and this is not me downing every race. Of course, there's good people in every race. I want to always state that. This is not to appease anybody. It's just facts.
But you feel where, goddammit? Shoe fit where?
Yeah,
Whoever the shoe fit. If you in whatever particular group
it's
that
like you
in,
got. And
if he talking about you, a hit dog gonna holler.
No doubt. And it's always like every other race is calling you a nigga in their language, whether it's their language. They always say something despising. Mexicans will call you mayate. Oh, fucking mayate. They go, really, Mexicans? We got your back like a motherfucker. There are black Mexicans, too. You got black Mexicans in Oaxaca, Mexico. You got...
You see that? It is off. First of all, I wouldn't have been clothing and dressing those people dressed. You dress clothing and dressing Vietnamese for let their own people do it. And another thing, why do we always have to do that? Well, we know there's some good people, there's good people in all races. I don't have time to sort them out because you know what? When people speak against black people, they don't say, well, you know, there is some good black people. You never heard them say that. They lump us all together in that negative mode. But we always got to be fair. But no one's fair by us. I know they're told to hate us and not have anything to do with us when they come, but that's their fault because we're told things about them. And that we've seen negative things about Africans running around the jungle with bones in their nose. They try to give us that impression about them laying around with bloated bellies, with flies all over them. But see, at that time, those was refugees in refugee camps that had the bloated bellies and the flies all over them by wars that was started because colonial power was left a power vacuum. That's why you had all those civil wars in Africa at that time. But even the Africans come over here, they don't like us. And whoever don't like me, I don't like them. I'm not gonna try to sit around and try to win them over. It's them to come over. It's not us for people to come to our country. And this is our country. It's not for them to come to our country and we try to win them over. No, they need to win us over. You come where we're at. If we go to Africa, it's for us to win them over. They come over here, it's for them to win us over. Many times we have a back and we want to be everybody's buddy, but no one wants to be ours. Yeah, I lived in LA a long time. I knew a lot of black Mexicans, they couldn't stand us in either. See, they go by nationality and ethnicity. They don't care about race. See, all we know is race. We don't know our true nationality or ethnicity. So all we know is race. That's why we're not divided into a lot of groups. We need to, I think, because all of us don't think the same. And many of us run with people who don't even think like us, and that's why we have a lot of trouble with them. But look, but they told that about us when they come over. And then the same people are now pulling the same thing on them. I mean, they're even pulling it on white people now. White people is fair game for them now, poor whites. They're crying about how bad they're doing. They tried that like they were doing so well. So they let them do a little bit better than us, give us a few more, them a few more privilege. But many times they were doing worse than us. But they had that whiteness to draw back on. And I show you why they're able to open business in that name. I want to show you another video about this Asian woman. And she tells what happens when they go to get a business loan and how they're steered to the black community. Watch this.
Yes, this is really important. Asian Americans were redlined from opening businesses in white neighborhoods because white people didn't want Asian Americans operating in their neighborhoods and didn't want Asian Americans profiting off of white people. But because the positionality of Asian Americans is weaponized to oppress black people, Asian Americans were being given loans to open businesses in black communities, even though black people were not able to receive loans to open businesses in their own communities. And as I've said before, as a result of this, Black wealth is essentially paid out twice when it goes to Asian American businesses. Once when the individual pays for the goods or services, and then again when the Asian American business owner removes the profit from the community. Because usually people open businesses in their own communities, and this is mutually beneficial, where the business owner is making a livelihood off of providing goods and services to their community.
See that? They're told that you have to open in the black community. Yeah, the black can't get a loan to open in their own areas. It's all by design. That's why I say the government is a mob. It's been working like a mob against us. Many of the black business, when it started, they actually worked, used the FBI against us, keep us from prospering economically. They tore up cowboy towns all out west that black people had started. They burnt down black farms. I even got one to show you about a black man farm they had burnt down because he had become the most prosperous farmer in that area. And he burnt his farm down because of jealousy. That's their MO. It's not flying around. Every time black people start prospering, they want to burn you out, kill you. Oh, they killed him also. Matter of fact, I'm gonna play this for you. I want you to see these things that I'm just not running my mouth. Said about the black farmer.
What happens when a black farmer in Mississippi outproduces every white farmer in the county? In 1973, the answer was death. George LeVon of County wasn't farming, he was thriving. Nearly 1,000 acres of cotton and soybeans, debt-free, records clean, profits high. He even showed other black farmers how to keep money in their own communities instead of handing it to middlemen. That kind of success? Dangerous in Mississippi. Weeks later, an explosion ripped through his tractor shed. George was killed instantly. His equipment and financial ledgers burned to ash. Investigators blamed bad wiring, but here's the twist. His son had seen a letter from the bank warning that George's rise wasn't welcome. That letter? Gone in the flames, too. 6 months later, his land was gone, snatched up by a white-owned company for pennies. No investigation, no headlines, just silence. This is how Mississippi didn't just steal lives, it stole futures. If this is the first time you've heard George LeVon's name, hit follow. His story should never have been buried. If you watched till the end, follow, like, share, and repost for more of Mississippi Uncovered.
So you see, we're not bad at business and just can't open it like people. Time we prosper, the government, not just mobs and government and law enforcement also work against us. Because the sheriff helped in Tulsa, Oklahoma. They bombed it. They bombed Black Wall Street, dropped dynamite on it from the sheriff's airplane, and the disturbance that happened in town was nowhere near Black Wall Street. It was on the other side of town. But they just used it as an excuse to destroy black people prosperity. And it's been happening all the time. It happens now. You see, they give other people loans to open up business in our neighborhood because they know those people are not going to keep that money here. They're going to take it home with them, take it to their neighborhood. And it's going to turn over in their neighborhood and never turn over in ours. That way we control our areas politically, but others control it economically. But the political leaders need to do something about that. If you're going to open a business here, you're going to have to do business with some of the local businesses. Because most of the people, most of those foreigners that open business in black areas, they won't do business with none of the black people. Won't even buy a cup of coffee from you. They take that money back to their community. But our local leaders has to do something about that. Put stipulations down. Don't just let these people come in here and maybe give you the money on the table or something. You need to put stipulations down that they need. They have to do business with some of the local merchants and with some of the business. If you want some painting done, it has to be with East St. Louis. I'm not going to say location because it's going all over. It has to be with the local person. Make them do business with local people and pay into local things so that money can turn over in our neighborhood. I know it's not easy to do, but you have to at least try because we got too much money to be so poor. Just our spending power alone, 2.3 trillion. If we were a nation, we'd be like the some say the 17th, some say the 14th richest nation on earth. Just black people in the United States. And that's just spending power. That's not all of our money. So probably even richer. The number probably dropped about number 12 if it was all of our money. We're not broke. We're not poor. And that shows we're not lazy with that type of money. Problem is, our money is just not being spent right. It's leaving our community, making everyone else rich. They're being enriched with their money and our money. And this has been going on for a long time. But we haven't had any any of our leaders, who would put a stop to it. We have to call ICE and see if those foreigners are legal. Come down to it. Get them out of here and let some black people run these businesses. It's so hard for a black person to open a business in their own neighborhood. And we put up with it. Each time the government stick their nose in our economic business and stuff. They did with Marcus Garvey. What's that about Marcus Garvey? Let's see if this is the one where they sabotaged him when he had a truck. He had a shipping company. I think this is it here.
Did you know the FBI destroyed a $50 million black shipping empire and nobody talks about it? In 1920, Marcus Garvey's Black Star Line was thriving with thousands of black investors pouring their life savings into his vision. Real ships were transporting goods across the Atlantic, connecting Africa to America. But the FBI had other plans. They planted agents who sabotaged engines mid-voyage, stranding ships at sea for weeks. Forged documents appeared overnight, creating fake legal troubles that drained company funds. Newspapers suddenly turned hostile, publishing lies about financial mismanagement that scared investors away. Then came the mail fraud trial, with fabricated evidence that everyone knew was fake. Garvey was sentenced to prison and deportation. From his cell window, he watched his ships being sold for scrap metal. Millions of black families lost everything they had invested. The FBI had crushed the largest black economic movement in American history. One operation set back black wealth building for generations.
You see there? Every time we start benefiting economically, they interfere with it and then laugh at us. Simone, we're lazy. That was the kind of money we have. You know black people work hard. I told you that, I think it was yesterday, that they're the laziest people. They're the ones who don't do any work. They don't do the manual labor, and black and brown people do the manual labor. Black and brown people do the tech in this nation. White people don't run the tech. They're not the scientists, inventors in this nation. People from India, Nigeria, different places. White people, they have been managers and administrators. They haven't done a good job at that because most American industries get some type of corporate welfare, including this nation. Put it $37 trillion in debt, you fumbled it. You have Marcus Garvey. They say he was sent to prison for fraud. But I found out I had mentioned that before. I found out it was all fabricated against him. You can't believe anything they say when it comes to black people and the legal system. Yeah, you can't believe anything they say. You really have to look it up. Because I said some stuff about Marcus Garvey, and I shouldn't have said it until I looked it up. I usually look things up first. But yeah, they sabotage Marcus Garvey. They want us to stay poor because all the stereotypes they put out about us will be proven fake if we start prospering. And see that's because every time we start prospering, they start a reconstruction. White, anytime there's black progress, there's white backlash. They become angry. These people are not supposed to be there. They're getting too big for the britches. We have to stop the browning of the United States. They really want to stop the blackening of the United States. They weren't against brown people until now. Well, yeah, I don't know what's going on now because they're against white people too. They beating and dragging white people in the street, shooting them in the head with pepper bullets, beating and dragging white women. I mean, they don't care who they do it to now. But, I said last night, when I read Project 2025, and I really sat down and just looked at it, I was telling people, look, I believe it's going to hurt other folks more than it hurt us. Because everything they're talking about doing, we're going through that already. They're just going to go through what we've been going through. They had a few months of look how they crying like a baby. Now I'm trying to be straight. Now I'm talking about we sorry, black folks. You're not sorry. You're just sorry because you got caught up in it. Because you voted for Trump trying to hurt somebody else. Everybody I know who said they voted for Trump, it was somebody they was trying to hurt. They want to see something happen to someone else. But they didn't know that it was going to happen to them. Now they're talking about they're sorry black people were right. You knew we were right all the time. You just wouldn't admit it until you got in trouble. Now they're admitting about all the white people who are on food stamps and welfare. Matter of fact, welfare wasn't meant for black people. Black people couldn't even get it at first. It was meant for white people. Oh, I got one on that. Well, a white woman admitting about welfare. Let me play that for you.
So I posted about white folks on food stamps, and one thing I kept seeing was that welfare was created for people. I knew that it was created during the New Deal, so I did some more research because I didn't really know the whole story, and I thank you guys for responding and helping me learn stuff. So during the Great Depression is when we saw the beginning of things like Social Security, unemployment insurance. But here's the kicker. When Franklin Roosevelt built those programs, he had to make deals with Southern Democrats in Congress, the same folks who were big fans of Jim Crow, to get the support of these racist white Southern politicians. The programs were designed to exclude farm workers, domestic workers, jobs held overwhelmingly by black, Latino, and indigenous people. So right from the start, black and brown families were pushed out of benefits so that white people could get them. Then we move forward to the 1960s, and there's this war on poverty. It finally opened up welfare programs more broadly, and that's when food stamps became permanent. Well, permanent, we don't know what Trump's going to do to them, but they lasted a long time. And guess what? The minute more black and brown families started accessing this help, the politics shifted. Welfare got a new image and a new target. By the 1980s and 90s, with Ronald Reagan and his gang, they pushed the welfare queen myth. That's a racist dog whistle meant to turn public opinion against safety nets by blaming black women for poverty that white policies created. That's the truth, you guys. So yes, welfare was built for white people, and when others finally got in the door, they tried to burn the house down. If you want to blame the right people, you got to get curious.
Okay. I know what she's saying is correct. That's the reason I played it because I looked it up myself and I already knew about what she was saying. I had researched that. But yeah, they've done a lot against us and then blame us for it. And many of us believe it and blame ourselves. See, see, we came up under the same system that white people came up under, learning the same things they learned. You know, the ideology of this nation was white supremacy and black inferiority. And many black people suck that in too. And many don't even realize that many black people think like white supremacists. Don't even realize I have to catch myself sometime and I know better. Because there's certain things that was ingrained in us. Cause you know what happened um they when you see on social media when a black person misbehaves, what do you hear black people saying? Oh, there we go again. But you tying it to them, their misbehavior is because they're black. That's what the white supremacist does. And it's the same thing that white folks do, but they don't tie it to their race because they don't feel that they're inferior. Got us thinking that we're all criminals. Now they're admitting that the white crime rate is much more than they were saying it was. They're admitting all that now, trying to get on our good side. Why is everyone trying to get on our good side? We can't do anything for them. We can barely do anything for ourselves. But right now, we're in a good place. Not much hurting us. I know a lot of black women lost jobs with the government, but you know, but a lot of black women was able to get jobs with the government because they were seen as a liberal minority. But I hopefully we'll get this clown out of office and they can get their jobs back. Because get your jobs where you can, with the government or whoever. You know, and they, you know, a lot of black women got high-paying jobs with the government. And I hope they can get them back. Cause we need to do something. Cause this, well, we just have to see, I guess. But but yeah, but we have to stop putting ourselves down. We don't commit much crime as they say. The crime statistics is gathered by the FBI. They don't rate crime by charges. They go by arrest. You can get arrested and let go. It still go down in the crime stats. And I found out they were including some people of color in the black crime stats. They don't include us in their stuff. See, if and it says also in the FBI crime stats, you can look this up yourself. It says that usually when a black man is arrested, he's exonerated. White men are not. The reason being is because black people get arrested. How many times you heard black people say, "Oh, see a white man doing something safe, oh, he was black." They be taking him to jail by now. See, black people are arrested, then investigated, and if one be let go. White men are investigated. White people are investigated. If one be arrest after investigation. That's why the crime stats, the FBI crime stats say most people, black people have a high exoneration rate. White people don't because they investigate it before they pick them up. They're just not going to arrest them without any cause like they do black people. So that makes the black crime stats higher. And I would also they say, well, why so many black people in prison? It's always been that way. Even during slavery, there was more black people in prison. You just talk back to a white person. White person hit you, you hit them back. You go to prison. Back in the early part of the 20th century, when the black crime rate was very low, there was more black people in prison because prison is they use prisoners for work to do slave work. Slavery is really not outlawed in this nation because in the Constitution it says that a person can be held and do slave work if they're convicted of a crime. And that's why you see more black people in prison. And these farmers out here crying, I hope they lose everything, these white farmers. Because, see, during Reconstruction, when Jim Crow started, they took those black people's farms and gave them to white people. You know, many of those black people who were sharecropping, they didn't have nowhere to go. They was actually sharecropping on a farm that really belonged to them. And it was taken away from them. Could you imagine how a man felt, his family, how bad that made him feel, his family, see him have to sharecrop on a farm that was his? I know that had to be a bad feeling. Even if his family knew what was going on, still you feel bad. You feel, you got a sharecrop on a farm that used to be yours. And so that's why I don't feel bad for the white farmers, because even during they always got government subsidies, which was actually welfare. And during COVID, they got a large sum of money. The black farmers didn't get it. So the black farmers sued and won. The white farmers countersued, and the black farmers didn't get their money. Now, I never heard of anything like that. I sue and I win because someone else don't like it. I don't get my money. Now the white farmers are here crying, talking about come help them. I wouldn't help them with anything. They can lose their farm, their house, their crops, their dog, their cat. After what they did to the black farmers, I hope they lose everything. I wouldn't help them with anything. But look, the black farmers, they never got those subsidies. So that's why they're doing fine, because they managed without getting the immigrants to come pick their crops. They bought machinery to do it, and they sell at local markets. So they're doing fine. I hope they continue to do fine. But I know what I say may sound cool when I say about other people, but we have to look out for our own for a change. We've been looking out for everyone, but no one looks out for us. Because of the civil rights bill that we enacted, everyone got rights. A lot of them even more rights than us. So, we have to look out for ourselves. And everyone else going to have to look out for themselves. 'Cause we've done enough for other people. This video here that I had. Oh, let me play this video here for you.
After murdering over 300 black residents, White Tulsa had to hide evidence. They dumped bodies in Arkansas River, buried others in unmarked mass graves, and destroyed medical records of the dead. Save this because you're going to want to see this evidence again. Survivors reported watching loaded with bodies driving toward river at night. White officials claimed only 36 people died, but funeral home records and survivor testimonies prove hundreds were killed. They threw bodies into Arkansas River weighted down with rocks and chains. Other victims were buried in mass graves outside city limits with no markers or documentation. Hospital records showing black patients treated for gunshot wounds mysteriously disappeared after massacre. Red Cross, which helped with body removal, was ordered to destroy casualty reports and never speak about true death toll. Even today, ground-penetrating radar has found mass grave sites around Tulsa that officials refuse to excavate.
Yeah, see, that was Tulsa. That was another time when we start benefiting economically, and it was taken away from us. So how can you prosper when everything you have is being ruined each time you try? Each time you try, everything you have is being taken away from you. And then you made fun of when you don't have anything. They let the other people come and to your neighborhood, they tell them they like I showed you a video of the Asian woman saying they tells them they don't come around black people because they love us so much, because they show the hatred, when the way they treat you in their businesses. Um, they tell them the only way they can get the loan, they have to. White people don't want you in their neighborhoods. You're gonna have to open it up in a black neighborhood, and that's why you have a lot of these immigrants opening up business in black neighborhoods. Even the woman said, but at the same time, black people can't get the loans to open up businesses in their own neighborhood. You know, as many black people who open up businesses, they have to save up the money to open the business. They don't get the loan. White people don't make a whole lot more money than we do. Black people usually work jobs and have little things on the side they do. Many times make more money than the white person. The white people just are able to get lines of credit that we can't get. And this nation is operated by credit, not cash. Many people you say, oh, he's a billionaire. He doesn't have $1 billion in cash lying around. He's talking about contracts, his line of credit, and future earnings. He just don't have $1 billion lying around. So this nation just doesn't operate by cash. But look, like I said before about last night, even when it comes to the black immigrants, they treat us the same way. When I lived out in Los Angeles, I was around all type of people of all race, creed, and color. It's a melting pot. And the black people from this nation, they call us FBAs, Foundational Black Americans, because we was at the founding of this nation. We're not immigrants, because this wasn't even a nation when we came here. But they showed so much hatred towards black people. The black Mexicans, the Africans, the Haitians, the Jamaicans, all of them. Now they're saying we're all black. Now they're saying that now that they're getting booted up out of here. That they all want to be black now. There's this one Dominican woman last year on her podcast, she was just ripping into black people about how she's Dominican. She has a very heavy accent. Now she's sitting around talking about, oh, we're all black. I'm black. She's black all of a sudden. No, last year you was Dominican and denying being black. We knew you weren't black anyway. We knew you was Dominican. And ICE is going to know it when they hear you talk and look at those papers. Now they're rounding up people. See, one thing that they did wrong, I didn't like. See, and many of those governors in southern states, in red states, they sent immigrants to other cities because some of them were sanctuary cities. And I was petitioning here telling people maybe we're losing residents. Maybe this should become a sanctuary city. And man, was I wrong. I'm glad we didn't. I used to be running up in here. We got Fairmont City here to the south. They have enough immigrants there. And now they sent them up in black neighborhoods. And I heard when the Venezuelans, when they went to Chicago, then they had on little flip-flops, black people giving them clothes and tennis shoes to wear. And that's why they're running up in some of the black areas, because some of those people up in there. In New York. And now they was talking about going up into San Francisco, but they changed that. Because San Francisco is a sanctuary city. And they was talking about Portland, Oregon. But you know the thing about Portland, Oregon though? I like to see what happens there, because Portland is a city of about 600, a little over 650,000, like 655,000. 5% black, 10% others, and 85% white. Now I like to see what happens there. Because if you look at these videos and watch the news, they're beating these white people like they think they civil rights people back in the 60s in the civil rights movement. I used to hear a lot of white people say when black people protest, they need to put the water cannons on them. Now, are they saying that now? Because see, black people staying out of these protests, I record them, but I don't get involved in them. Because like I told you before, I don't really believe in peaceful protests. You can't hurt me, and then when I get ready to respond, you're going to tell me I got to come with peace. You didn't come with peace. But look, I think it's good that black people are staying out of it and let them deal with that. I had to record on this page again. I got to get my media page back up. Having a little problem with it. I'm also on YouTube, and starting the first of the year, I'll be on Roku. So you'll be able to watch me there also. But look, back to what I was talking about. The government has been a part of every type of atrocity that has happened to black people. It hasn't just been mobs. If it was mobs, they were sanctioned by the government. And the people who caused the problem, they weren't brought to justice. When Emmett Till was killed, the people bragged to the sheriff on the courthouse steps about what they had done to him. They're laughing about it. Yet they get exonerated. And remember, if you think these Latinos are our friends, George Zimmerman, who killed Trayvon Martin, he was Hispanic. But you notice, when it came to them against us, they treated George Zimmerman like he was an honorary white. You would have thought he was a white man. I know Trayvon Martin's father because he texted me about something I said that he didn't like about 2 years ago. And because he's from here, from this town. He went to his high school over here next door to where I'm at. But he 16-year-old boy on his way home from the store. You don't like the fact that he walked in your neighborhood, you go start a fight with him. Because you lose in the fight, you shoot him and kill him, and that's standing your ground. With the fight that you started, that's the case. People want to kill somebody, just go start a fight with them. Let them start getting the best of you and just shoot them. Oh, I said the K word, then I'm supposed to say unalive. I need to stop. It's not good to say that here to fix the algorithm. But look, but yet he gets away with it. He was treated like an honorary white. See, when it comes to them against us, they're gonna side with them. See, they're talking about they want to stop the browning of the United States. I don't say America because everything from the North Pole that's on the American continent down to the tip of Argentina is America. They're all Americans. But they don't want to stop the browning of the United States. They want to stop the blackening of the United States. That's what they want to stop. Those brown people was all right until they helped elect Obama. Then they start talking about stopping the browning of the United States. See, the Hispanics used to vote Republican, and they wouldn't vote for black candidates. I told you last night about how when on election day, when the first results came in, and Obama lost on the first results, and I was telling someone I was with, say, well, it's a lot of Latinos, a lot of Mexicans live there. They don't vote for black candidates. And the guy on CNN 30 seconds later says the same thing I said. But then after that, they came through for Obama, voted Democrat or Democratic. And after that, they've been on the out with white folks. They were the honorary whites for a while. See, and these people talking about they're our allies, I told you last night. We went through 90 years of Jim Crow, which was a form of semi-slavery. I wasn't born with full rights of a citizen. because that didn't happen until 1964. I didn't realize it because I was a kid. You don't realize it. Many black people who were born under Jim Crow, I doubt if they realized it because it was so long. But people knew what we were going through. What was all our allies? Why come they weren't picketing on our behalf then? So what happens is, with police brutality, that can happen to anyone. They'll help with that. When we was fighting for our life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness, our very existence, that was all us. No one helped us. Now, we thank the ones who help, Of course, we appreciate the help. Like white people, they took over Black Lives Matters. I told you last night about how black people actually stopped protesting after Ferguson because I went and covered Ferguson, son. It's about 15 miles from here. They said it didn't do any good. It was out there 4 months and it didn't do any good. Stop protesting. Told you about the live streams I did over there once I turned off the stage where the black folks was at. 600 people out there and I couldn't find a black person. We appreciate the help, but like the Latinos crying, begging us for help. We didn't ask for any help, they just came. And a lot of those people were agitators when it burned down our 7-Eleven. Now we don't have one. That was a staple. A black person would know not to do that. So we don't want to protest with people who come out with hoods on. And we can't get with those Mexicans and all those different other people, Latinos protesting, waving another nation's flag. You say you don't want to go back there, but you waving their flag. That don't even make sense. Black people in this nation are the only people in this nation who never embraced another nation's flag over the United States flag. Because we haven't had a nation to do it with. The Jews have flown the Israeli flag. The people from in Central America, they've flown their flags. The people from Europe have flown the British and the French and all their nations' flags, the Irish flags. The Nigerians and the people from Africa have their flags out in their yard. What flag have we ever flown? If anything, it was the United States flag. I'm not talking about no symbolic flag like a sorority flag, stuff like that. I'm talking about another nation's flag. White people have flown the Confederate flag. That was a different nation that warred against the United States and lost. How can you lose a war and you're able to fly your flag over the victor's territory? Oh, I know you can. If you're white, you can do it. That was a nation that the Confederacy was a completely different nation, responsible for the death of hundreds of thousands of U.S. citizens. Yet you still around here flying that flag? We've never done that. We are more indigenous to this nation. I said this last night, I have to say it again. Black people, we're more indigenous to this nation than anyone, including white people. I tell you why. White people can say, I'm Irish American. I'm British American. Everyone in this world has a nation or an ethnic group where they can say they're that and American. What can we say? Saying African American, that's a continent. We're the only people. So we're more indigenous to this, not to this land now. Cause we know who the indigenous people to this land are. I'm talking about indigenous as citizens of the United States. We have more claim to that than anyone. We don't have another nation to embrace. We're the only people in this nation who don't have a nation to embrace except for the United States of America. Probably the only people in the world who can say that. White people can't say it, but we can. Hey, I have to take a quick break. I'm going to be right back. Let me play this video for you again. It's got a little language in here you may not like, but it's getting the point across.
you said what you said. How could you say that? How could anybody that looks like you come into America and talk about African Americans when they are the ones that have created the foundation for foreigners to come in? The 1964 Civil Rights Bill is the reason why Koreans, Nigerians, Indians, Arabs can come in and open up businesses in black neighborhoods and still disrespect the fucking same people that are putting money in their pockets. What kind of fucking nerve is that? It's the serious hatred of African Americans in this country. It's in the soil. It's in the fucking soil, like my boy Dante says. That's my co-host. He says it's in the soil. That it's almost patriotic to hate black people. It's patriotic. It's part of the.
Damn.
It's part of that.
Oh, damn.
Yeah, it's part of the American thing to hate black people. Because let me tell you, I got proof. My Vietnamese friends, I say, why you keep calling us Midang? And my friend Duck, it's Duck, and it's not Duck, it's Duck. We used to call him Duck. He says, they tell us, the government tell us to be careful of black people. They tell us that. The white people, they tell us, be careful of black people. And I ended up being their friends. My father and my parents buying them clothing. And you got black people giving you clothing and black people hanging out with you and teaching you football and all this other shit. And they told you to stay away from black people. You know, you know what I'm saying? They taught them that shit. And Richard Pryor has a good joke. Rich Pryor had a good one in the 70s where he goes, he's like, yeah, he said, them Vietnamese motherfuckers come into town in America, right? He said, the government says, hey, if you call them a nigger, you're an American. Some shit. Nigga. You ever hear him say that shit?
No, I didn't.
Yeah, Richard says it perfect. He said, man, them motherfuckers is racist and motherfucker. He's like, because the white folks tell them, if you say nigger, then you're American. Nigga. Even Pryor talked about that. And it's sort of like, it's a patriotic thing to hate black people. That's like a normal thing. It's if they gave you a pamphlet, they'll say, oh yeah, and hate niggers. Because every other race, and this is not me downing every race. Of course, there's good people in every race. I want to always state that. This is not to appease anybody. It's just facts.
But shoe fit wear, goddammit. Shoe fit wear.
Yeah,
whoever the shoe fit. If you in whatever particular group
it's
that
like you
in,
got. And
if he talking about you, his dog gonna holler.
No doubt. And it's always like every other race is calling you a nigga in their language, whether it's their language. They always say something despising. Mexicans will call you mayate. Oh, fucking mayate. They go, really, Mexicans? We got your back like a motherfucker. There are black Mexicans, too. You got black Mexicans in Oaxaca, Mexico. You got...
Come audio back on. You know one thing about him from me? I wouldn't try to make these distinctions. He was trying to please people. He said he wasn't, but he was. See, when people talk about black people, they say derogatory things about black people, they don't say, well, you know, there are some good black people out here. You know that they don't say that. They lump us all in that one negative bowl. They don't sort through us. Why should we have to sort through them? I haven't heard a person do it yet. And those Vietnamese, let their people clothe them. Don't they have people here? Let them do it. So we got compassion for everyone, but no one has it for us. I said before, as a people, black people are the moral conscience of this nation, probably the world. We're some very kind, compassionate people. As a people, individually, we can be diabolical. Individually. Now, like white people, they're completely different. Individually, they're some of the nicest people. They would treat you great. I mean, they are some very nice people. But as a people, they're diabolical. Destabilized the whole world, has killed more people in the last 200 years than every race combined in the history of this nation. As a matter of fact, I thought I had a video where it showed about which nation has killed the most people? I guess I didn't upload it, but the United States, what was their number? I think the United States was number one, which has killed the most people. I know it was well over getting close to 200 million people. The United States was responsible for the deaths of around the world. This has been in the since the last 20 years. You know what nations that wasn't even on the list? Not one African nation. But we're the savages. Africans and black people are supposed to be the savages, and yet they've been around the world killing people in the hundreds of millions. And the only reason they were having those wars over in Africa is when, after World War II, the European powers had weakened and couldn't physically hold on to the colonies, even though they held on to them economically. And they left a power vacuum. And people were fighting to fill that vacuum. That's why they had all those civil wars. But yeah, they've killed a lot of people around the planet. Mass killing. Find weapons of mass destruction. Oh man, I'm keep saying that word. I don't mean to say K-word, I mean mass unaliving. That message you up when they be strikes against you for saying that. But yeah, they but we haven't done that. Who would think of a bomb that just destroy a whole city at a time? Weapons of mass destruction. Something that would kill. Oh, I said it again. Something that would unalive millions of people at a time. Who would think of that? Not us. Who would think to go run up in a school and just unalive multiple people? It's been very few times a black person has done it. I'm talking about who normally does it. It's always gonna be somebody. It's never just who would think of going to a church and unalive 9 people. And the guy said, I almost didn't do it because they treated me so well, but I had to finish my mission. He wanted to start a race war. Now, all that have been done to us, do we ever talk about starting a race war? We don't even talk about it. We don't even think like that. We're trying to live our lives. But you won't let us do it. Each time we start prospering, you find a way to ruin it. Then you wonder why our communities look like it does. It's a wonder we've made it as far as we have. Still calling us the same names and stereotypes for the last 400 years. When you gonna grow up? You're like racial infants. We don't even have any derogatory racial names for other groups anymore. We did it back in the 60s, like crack or hunky, all that, because that was just in response to all the names you were calling us. We cut it out. We left that back to the 20th century. We don't even have any names that we call you. We evolved. We grew up. You didn't. Racially, you're still like infants. When you gonna get off that milk? Put that bottle down, them pacifiers down, and grow up. But you're doing a little growing now. Well, you're not growing. You're just scared right now. They busting y'all heads in the streets. They dragging white women, kicking them, beating them, punching them. Tell me this. How does it feel to be the new N-word? Don't feel good, do it? They're treating, what have they done doing now to you all they haven't been doing to. They've been dragging black people out of police cars, throwing them in jail without probable cause. Everything they're doing to you, we've been going through for 400 years. You've had a few months of it, and you're crying like a baby. Where the blacks at? We didn't ask where you was at, but we knew where you was at. You was urging it on when it was happening to us. You should have complied. Well, why come you not complying? You're complying, and look what's happening to you. That's what had been happening to us. We comply, you get knocked upside the head anyway. You had a priest standing out there praying, and they shot him in the head with a pepper bullet. That's not a deadly bullet. It's a pepper bullet, and he got hit 7 more times in his body. Was it because he was not complying? He was praying. And you people, I see you on social media, you MAGA folks. You backing all this stuff up. Yeah, good job, officers and all that. But believe me, they coming your way. So I read Project 2025. It's more against you than us. We're gonna be okay. When I read, I said this not gonna affect black folks that much. It's already happening to us. That's why we're not out there protesting. You protest for yourself. We're not coming out there. It's not our fight. Now, if a black person feel like they want to go out there and help protest, that has to be their conviction. They have to determine that for themselves. And then whatever they choose to do, they have to do what they got to do. But don't come calling when you somewhere in another country, and then they're getting bit by alligators in alligator Alcatraz. Let them people fight their own fight. We fought ours. We had some help. Matter of fact, you know what? We have more help from white people than anyone else. White people, like I said, they just about took over Black Lives Matters. I would here in St. Louis, you go down some streets you go down where you know when you're going from the black area to the white area. You could drive down like Kings Highway or Grand. You're in the black area, you see some you see some Black Lives Matter sign. When you get to the white area, you saw one in just about every yard. That's why they started this anti-woke program, because a lot of white people had learned what was really going on. Now, remember I told you the immigrants in Los Angeles? The European immigrants treated you nice. It was the people of color. The immigrants who were people of color and black, who was low down towards black people. I know. And this was a while back. They did not like black people. I told you the leader of the MS-13 gang was in prison and said, get all the black people out to his neighborhood. They'll find some 70-year-old man sitting on the bench and shoot him in the head. A 90-year-old man, shoot him in the head. And I told them when they said they're coming out there, I talked to a guy I know. And he said, they coming to get the gang, the gang bang, the gangsters and the criminals. And man, black people have heard that so many times. They tell us that we're coming to get the gang bangers and the drug dealers. They bother everyone except the gang bangers and the drug dealers. They did it here in this town years ago when they had a gang problem. They sent in the state police. We're coming to stop the gangs. They bothered everyone except for the gangs. Even the police don't don't bother the criminals. They know who they are. They don't bother them. They do not bother them. They bother everyone except them. They was stopping middle-aged people on their way home from work. They don't want to see. They don't see. The police is to prevent crime, preventing cybercrime in white areas, and contain it in black areas. There's no crime. There's no crime prevention in black areas. And when they come in, they're not trying to prevent crime. They're just harassing. So I knew what they was gonna come in and do. You see, they're not doing that many deportation. They're not deporting many people. They're deporting very few people. They're just putting up photo ops. A lot of those people you see them tear gassing. Those are people who are walking away peacefully. And some of the people told us say they carry cameras with them. Why the people walking away, they'll tear gas them and record it. And they haven't deported that many people. Obama and Biden at this time deported many more people than Trump. They're just putting up photo ops. I mean, they used to call Obama deporter in chief. So they're just fooling you with that deportation. They're not deporting that many people. They're just putting up photo ops. But you black people, be careful. Don't hang around those immigrants. And show you how stupid they are. This guy that Bunny, whatever his name, performing at the Super Bowl, they're making a big complaint over him. He's Puerto Rican. He's a citizen. And now in Chicago, I don't know how they're gonna sort that out because you got a lot of Puerto Ricans in Chicago and they're citizens. Puerto Rico is a commonwealth of the United States. I mean, they have a governor. They vote in the presidential election. So they're citizens of the United States. That's why when who was that? Trump said, to show you how silly this man is. He said he talked to the president of Puerto Rico and the Virgin Islands. He doesn't realize he's the president of Puerto Rico and the Virgin Islands. They're commonwealths of the United States. He's the president. So he lied just then, like he always do. So my bias came on tonight. I'm not gonna hold long. Just to let you know, many times we can buy into the ideology that other people have fed us, like we're less than. And most of our problems haven't come that we're less than. It came from us being interfered with. Trump mentioned 10 inventions. I remember one that he mentioned 10 great inventions by Americans. He didn't realize that each one of those inventions was invented by a black person. And see, a lot of people don't realize it because they don't know about black history. I see a lot of white people have woke up to it. Now, who would want somebody to tell you, I want you sleep, I don't want you woke, I don't want you learning about stuff? Anyone in their right mind would say, you must be crazy. But when you let racism cloud your mind, you go along with stuff like that. Somebody riding around here at night, messing around with some. Yeah, but if you let it cloud your thinking, racism is really something else. It have people voting against themselves because see, poor whites, if they weren't so racist, they would be voting and right along with black people. But they let their racism cloud them because then most white folks are not doing it good either. And just think, back during slavery, why would poor whites allow them to bring people over here to work for free when they didn't have jobs? That doesn't even make sense. But if your racism is that strong and they can appeal to you out of race, they go along with it. Remember what Lyndon Johnson said? If you can give If you can convince the lowest white person that they're better than the best black person, you can pick his pockets and he never know it. You give him someone to look down on, he'll empty his pockets out for you. So then you know they will hurt themselves economically just to get back at a black person. Yeah, keep them people enslaved. Let them pick that cotton. But I don't have a job. How's my family gonna eat? Now they're telling the truth that most white people have a much higher percentage on welfare and food stamps. Many of the white people on food stamps are middle class. And there's a lot of fraud going on. I saw where they had one white man he had 53 food stamp cards in his name. 53 cards in his name. How he do that? I wish I can get some. Get a little payoff for reparations. That's why I said, and found out that there's so many white people on welfare you wouldn't believe it. And a lot of them was working too. And they try to put it on black women. But black women, if you can get it, get it. Get whatever you can get. They won't worry about you when you work for free. When your ancestors work for free. I said, whatever you can get from this government, get it. As much as you can. Because they're not going to pay you no reparations. And it'd be good if they did. I always tell them, say, if you tell me, go back to Africa, I haven't been there, but I tell them, go back to Europe because Europe is in a decline. Africa is on the rise. But I tell them, put your money where your mouth is. Give me $1 million in reparations. I'll go. Give every black person $1 million in reparations you want us to go. Buy us out. The one who's going to buy us out. I'm sure many will take you up on it. Million, maybe 2 million in reparations. Doesn't mean a lot of nations will want us. That kind of money, if we got that kind of money. Yeah, but buy us out. Don't just ask us to leave or tell how to get mad. Cause tell me, look, if you don't like me here, why don't you leave? But they got in their mind, this is a white nation. No, it's not. But look, people told me, you be talking about Trump and the race all the time. We got some problems going on. We got to talk about this stuff. Because you know about it, I know about it. There's a lot of people don't know about it. I mean, we can't have a problem over us and we walk around like it's not happening. We don't have a civil rights bill anymore. We don't even have a voting rights bill anymore. And a lot of black people don't even know that. They threw it out. The Democrats are not even talking about it. Just sit there and talk about abortion being thrown out. But they haven't talked about the civil rights bill and the voting rights bill. Yeah, and then Trump already said he's not going nowhere in 2028. He's running again. But what he don't realize, because of what the Supreme, if they set it up where he can run for a third time, that means Obama can run too. And I doubt if he's going to beat Obama. Because everybody's just about tired of him. That's if he make it the way he's looking. I wouldn't mind those natural causes, though. If you know what I mean. But look, they told me, say, well, you're supposed to pray for Trump. Sorry, I just haven't reached that state. I pray for him, but he's not gonna like what I pray, though. He don't like it. Look, I'm not gonna hold you long tonight. I had saw some of those videos, where they're talking about how every time we made great economic gains, it was stripped from us. It stopped us from being able to create generational wealth, and took land from us. Oh, you remember the people in New York where they took all their prime land from, and the gave it to a white family, and they became rich off of it. Then they finally gave it back to the black people, and was boasting about it. Nothing. A lot of people got upset with me because I said, but what about the generational wealth that was lost? Those white people gonna give up that wealth too? Those black people didn't just lose the land; they lost the generational wealth. So that means the land was like it was stolen or hijacked from them. How you gonna be allowed to keep wealth that you acquired illegally? Give that up too. I said, I don't have no pity for people who rob people and take their stuff. People say they don't like criminals, but they like international criminals. See, I got people texting me from what I said last night about those Africans should have sent those colonialists away. They let them stay in their nations, kept letting them rob them of their wealth. They should have sent them to the airport with nothing, butt naked. Put them on the plane, train, wherever they was going, butt naked to get out of here and don't come back. You do not let invaders stay in your land. You put them out. They're learning though. The Africans are learning. They're on the rise now, and that's great. And the Western society is in decline. But I know I'm getting a bit off subject, but I'm by myself. I don't have a guest with me. That makes me ramble a little bit. But I thank you all for tuning in. I think I'm gonna get off here. I'm getting a little sleepy, and I know I'm gonna start repeating myself. Yeah, but thank you for tuning in to No More Water Fire next time. Hopefully I'm on my regular YouTube channel, and and I'll be back on my regular Facebook channel probably tomorrow, and so I'm on my regular Facebook page right now, and the cable station. You see that? Let's see the channel YouTube at 984. That's the local cable station I have, but I just don't fire it up because it was costing too much money, and it don't. People don't watch cable anymore. It don't generate money, so I can't afford to lose money. Now everybody telling me, why don't you start the cable station back? Yeah, but when I do, it don't get supported. I can't get the commercials for it because get the sponsors because, like I say, people don't really watch cable anymore. So people now watching podcasts and internet news, and you have to go with the flow. I can't just start a station up just to be starting it up and then it break me. I wish I could, but all I have to do is really just connect it back up and start broadcasting. But now it's gonna break me. No, I can't do that. Everyone always tell me what I should do. You want me to go down to Florida tomorrow to do that high school game. But when I do, you all don't support it. It costs money to do that. So support, and then I can do all of that. I'm not gonna do it out of my pocket. So I have different shows, and each one has to. The high school sports has to sustain itself, and then I got other people who do some broadcasting on my channel, but everyone has to sustain themselves. Can't take, as they say, rob Peter to pay Paul. I'm gonna go all the way down to Florida on my dime, just so other people can see a game. I can't do that. Make me rich. So in my cash app and sponsoring, make me rich, and then I'll do that. I'll do it out of my pocket. You make me rich. Okay? Yeah, but I'd like to thank you all for tuning in to No More Water Fire next time. And hopefully I see you tomorrow. No, not tomorrow. I got a busy day tomorrow. I'll probably see you on Monday. So thank you for tuning in. And I think I'm gonna get out of here. Let me take all this down. Yeah, I got so much to take down. Oh yeah. I'm gonna get out of here. Thank you for tuning in.